Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to welcome you to another episode of Here's What I Think with your host, Charles Stebansi, where we discuss everything from current events, economics, politics, and how it all shapes business and life. Let's get into today's topic. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the presidential race. And specifically, we're going to be talking about some polling data that just came out. As you guys know, this is a very, very close race. And really, this race is going to come down to the battleground states. Right? That's ultimately what it's going to come down to. That's really what we're discussing here. It's not anything else but that. Because this race, the winner is going to be determined by the electoral college votes. That is it. So we may focus on various polls. One poll may say so and such candidate is leading nationally. Trump is up or Harris is up. It doesn't really matter. The real information that actually matters is how are these candidates performing in those battleground states. So what happened yesterday, I was just listening to various news and I came across a segment from CNN where they were discussing the current state of affairs in terms of those battleground states and how both of these candidates were doing. And basically what they were saying is that this race is a toss-up. And if one state swings in one direction or another, either candidate could become the president of the United States. So what we want to do is we want to play some of the information that they said here. I want you guys to listen to it carefully, and then we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to what they had to say here.
Oh, there's so much to decipher, Boris. I mean, I woke up at 4:30 this morning looking at all the polling data. I got no sleep. I was deep down in the spreadsheets. And here's the reason why. Look at this. We have gotten a bevy, a slew, a buffet of polling, whatever way you want to put it. Harris in Trump in Pennsylvania. This is the margin. Quinnipiac, you got 5 for Harris. How about the New York Times? You got 4 for Harris. Franklin and Marshall, 3. You notice we're coming down the line. Trump's doing a little bit better. How about the Washington Post? Just a 1-point lead for Harris, well within the margin of error. And Marist College, a tie. So the bottom line is, looking at this data, you see perhaps a slight lead for Harris, but then you work your way all the way back to your right side of the screen, and you get a tie. As you put it, my dear friend, very tight in the Keystone State.
And how about this new fresh Michigan and Wisconsin polling that's come out over the last day?
Yeah, all right. So I gave you 5 polls here. That's a lot of numbers to digest. So let's kind of dive in. We're going to look at Michigan, we're going to look at Wisconsin, and we're going to look at Pennsylvania, and we're going to basically close it in on an average, right? Take it all together, package it up, nice bow on the top of it to make it easy. So this is the Great Lake battleground states. In Michigan, +2 for Harris. Pennsylvania, you mentioned at the top, +2 for Harris. How about Wisconsin? +2 for Harris on average. The bottom line is, Boris, in these battleground states, it is so tight, no clear leader. Now, what does this mean for the electoral map? Because I think that is so important. You look at this and you say, okay, these numbers, what do these exactly mean? Let's talk about the race to 270 electoral votes, all right? Now, what I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to say that the polling averages are right on. Now, they could be off by a little bit, and Trump could benefit from that and win with those polling averages the way they are. But let's just say the polling averages are right on. So we'll give Kamala Harris Wisconsin. We'll give her Michigan, and of course we'll give her what I think is the most important state in this election, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. If you give Kamala Harris all 3 of these states, even if she loses in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, here's the key number. In the race to 270, she would get to exactly 270 electoral votes. But if you just took one of these states away, Boris, she would fall below that margin. So that is why you led this off by saying it is the closest race in a generation. It has been that way nationally. And when you look at these battleground states, there's no other way to describe it, my dear friend, than too close to call.
There is also the possibility, Harry, with these razor-thin margins, that if she somehow loses that congressional district in Nebraska, that the one in Omaha, that one electoral vote, we could be thrust into a tie, and then it's up to the House of Representatives. So a lot of things are possible there.
So you heard what the reporters had to say about those battleground states. What are my thoughts on this? I think that we need to spend more time, and I think the emphasis in terms of the media needs to be put more on these battleground states versus these general polls, because these general election polls are quite misleading, because it may say, oh, most voters are thinking this and most voters are thinking that, but in the end, it doesn't really matter, because most of those states, the Texases, the New Yorks, they're going to vote the direction that they usually vote in. There are some states that we can already pencil in what voters are going to do, and that's what they do with these college maps. When they put up the map, you can pretty much see the states that are going to be red, the Texas and all of that, and then the states are going to be blue and all of that. So we pretty much know that. But this race really comes down to those battleground states. What you didn't see was the map that they put up. The current map that they had was Kamala Harris being up 270 to Trump 268. You need 270 votes, obviously, to win the election. What they're saying is it could be a toss-up, because if Pennsylvania flips in either direction, that could determine the race. If another Michigan flips in another, that could determine the race. So really, that's what it comes down to. And I think that moving forward, we need to focus more on that. Certainly, that's what we're going to focus on this channel. So really, the question then comes down to this. How do you see these candidates ultimately faring in these battleground states, number one? Number two, given the fact that the race is so close and it's basically all within the margin of error, do you think that either these candidates should want to get in front of voters and do another debate? Do you think that that would be helpful for either candidate? Do you think it would be helpful for Kamala, or do you think it would be helpful for Trump? Or do you think, look, we pretty much know where they stand at this particular point, or rather, I've heard what I needed to hear. I know who I'm going to vote for, and I don't really think that's going to matter. What I think they need to do is instead continue to spend resources in those battleground states. Whatever you guys think on this issue, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys on the next show.